The strange comeback of Fortnite. This is from creator 808 Savion. I hope I'm saying the name right. Fortnite has made a resurgence. I played Fortnite. I started playing Fortnite on the day it came out. I was one of the earliest players, one of the early adopters of Fortnite. Loved it. Then it just got too much. And now I've come back to the game. I've been playing more Fortnite recently, more than ever. So I'm interested to see what he has to say. And I have a sneaky feeling why Fortnite is kind of having this big resurgence.
Fortnite made a crazy comeback. And no, it's not just because of OG Fortnite. For several years, the game has been on a steady decline, reaching its lowest interest just right before it peaked to the highest player count it's ever been in. But Fortnite's actually been setting itself up for success for about a year before OG Fortnite came out. So my goal for this video is to explain how Fortnite went from a game with a trash reputation to a game that everyone seems to praise now. So starting
I think Fortnite is a good example of really the big state of gaming. So what happens with the game, and I'll give you my take on why I think Fortnite is coming back to this beautiful scenery here of a couple T-Rexes, a couple Velocisauruses, a couple Triceratops, a couple Brachiosauruses back there. The problem I think with games is that they come out, they're really fun, and then they become so metaed, they become so competitive that it eliminates the casual player. And it eliminates the streamer, because a streamer, most streamers, like most variety game streamers or personality driven streamers, they can't play at that level for a long time because they're streaming to tens of thousands of people. They're playing multiple games. They don't have the ability to hyper focus on one game, and a lot of them don't want to be hyper competitive. When a game gets super hyper competitive like that, then all of the content is made for the super hyper competitive person. And they're playing the game way more than anyone else. They're playing at a level way higher than anyone else. Then the devs start to cater to them. They start to forget about the rest of the audience, and the rest of the audience just goes away. That's what happened with Fortnite, where at the beginning, building wasn't that big of a deal. You build a couple ramps, you crank a couple 90s. It was not that huge. And we saw people like Ninja, we saw people like Dr. Disrespect, we saw Tim the Tap Man, whoever, all playing Fortnite. And the story mode or the storyline of a battle royale game is perfect for content. It's a very linear story, right? You're dropped onto an island. You have to survive. Every single round is different. It's an adventure. There's tension building up as you progress. You're trying to get to the victory royale or the winner chicken dinner or whatever have you. So it's easy to follow as a fan. As the building got more complex in Fortnite, it eliminated those streamers. And it eliminated the casual player. You couldn't just drop into a game of Fortnite after not playing for 2 weeks, because some 13-year-old who's been playing for 17 hours a day is going to build the Empire State Building around you, and you're not even going to know how to switch between your guns. So now that no build is the thing, and OG Fortnite happened, so OG Fortnite brought back a very familiar map, a very familiar area, a very familiar nostalgic place. It also allowed for the no build mode to take off, because now there was no hyper fixed meta of building or what kind of gaming mouse, what kind of DPI you had to have to build these insane monuments. You could just drop in, basically turn it into like a casual Call of Duty type situation, just a shooter, with the added benefit of the victory royale or the battle royale format. So it's much easier to hop in and play and enjoy. And that's what's missing in gaming. Almost all games right now get this like horrible meta where if you take a week off, if you take 2 weeks off, you are cooked. No way you can get back. FIFA has it. World of Warcraft can have it, where if you're not, Destiny can have it, where if you're not getting that gear grind, if you're not constantly progressing, if you're not constantly doing your chores and your dailies or whatever you have, you take 2 weeks off, you don't know the meta anymore. You don't know what's what. Your power creep is falling. You can't even really enjoy the game. Fortnite's current state, you can enjoy the game. You can play once a night every 4 days and have the same experience. You jump in, grab a couple weapons. You know what you got to do. It's simple enough. It's fun. That's what's really driving it, is that it's fun again.
At the very beginning, Fortnite took off almost immediately after the Battle Royale mode launched back in September of 2017. In my opinion, I think that the reason it got so popular was because of how innovative it was. It wasn't even an original idea though. Before that, you had the Battle Royale styled games like H1Z1, PUBG, and even Minecraft survival games, which was local.
Well, PUBG was after Fortnite, right? I'm pretty sure I might be wrong on that, but H1, all those are great examples. H1 was super, super popular. It was an incredible streaming game. PUBG, great streaming game. All those are the exact same. Where the battle royale background is such a good style for streaming and content creation. Meta, highly competitive, uber competitive game like style, not the best for an audience.
Okay, the GOAT, but I'm gonna talk about that in another video. But anyways, the reason Fortnite was so innovative was because it took the addictive and unique idea of these games and it just turned it into something that was a simple, easy to understand experience that almost anyone could enjoy, which is why I think it went so crazy in the first place. That was just the beginning though. Big Fortnite YouTubers at the time like Myth, Tfue, Daquan, and of course Ninja were keeping the game alive and relevant on the internet. Everything changed though when Ninja somehow managed to get the biggest rapper of the modern age, Drake.
This was a crazy. I still remember this night. I remember exactly where I was when this was happening. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. You think Drake or Travis Scott or any of those guys could hop into a game of current Fortnite and build? No way. The building now is so insane. The building now that happens in competitive Fortnite is just crazy. There's no way Drake could be playing that mode. There's no way Travis Scott could be playing that mode. There's no way you could just hop in and have a good time. You could do that back in the day. You could do that on the earlier version of Fortnite. And gaming kind of has gotten lost with that. It's kind of coming back now. We've seen games like Helldiver and Pow World pop off where the experience is really just jump in, have some fun. That's it. There's no Prima strategy guide. There's no 50,000 post deep subreddit on the uber meta of those games. It's just jump in, have some fun, wild out for a couple hours, and then go do something else. That's what people want. Other games that do get too meted, they weed out the players who are just trying to have fun.
Play Fortnite with him on a live stream. Now this is actually insane, and this was probably the start of the having rappers on stream trend that we see today. Obviously this broke the internet and broke the Twitch live streaming record while having over 600,000 people in the stream, and of course this brought a new wave of popularity to the game. It wasn't just the community keeping the game alive, however. The developers were really tapped in with this player base too. Consistent and quality updates were probably the #1 thing that I'd say kept the game alive and fun. I remember back when the first big map update came out and half of the lobby would drop at tilted towers and
this was a great thing Fortnite did, was the idea of like this community and everyone dropping or everyone kind of participating in these events, whether it was a musical event or a map update or whatever it was. The lore and the story behind Fortnite is awesome. I think it's fantastic, and the way that they've done it is awesome. But it's hard to enjoy the story or the lore or these events or whatever when you don't have the dexterity to build at the highest level and you're just getting two-tapped immediately in lobbies.
This shit was actually insane. Lots of content would be added to keep the game fresh, but the simplicity of the game stayed the same. After this point though, things started to change. The Fortnite storyline would be introduced, and I don't know if y'all remember, but back in like season 3, there was this conspiracy thing of a rift opening up in the sky, which turned out to be an actual thing, and it started out as speculation, but it turned out to be part of the first big event, which would become a big thing throughout the rest of Fortnite. Now, whenever the next season dropped, one of the OG Fortnite spots that was one of my favorites, by the way, got fucking blasted by a meteor, and I was low-key some bullshit, but for the most part the season was still pretty fire. Fortnite also got introduced to mobile around this time, which opened up a whole new player base of people, and I don't know if anyone has the same experiences, but bro, just the feeling of being in class and having the whole class around you when you're about to get a win, and then you win, like bro, that's got to be one of the best feelings in the world. From this point on though, things started to take a turn for the worst.
This is when it got really competitive,
in my opinion. Every single update that came out, it would start to get wilder and wilder, and to the point where it didn't even seem like Fortnite anymore. And
well, then they did have the power creep, so they did have where like all of a sudden you're in airplanes, all of a sudden there's robots, all of a sudden you can Kamehameha people, all of a sudden you're doing this, you're doing that. It got way more complex for sure. It kind of got away from that beginning like simple hop in, have a good time. And this is what I'm talking about, where if you didn't play for a couple of weeks, all of a sudden it's like, wait, is that a robot? Wait, is that an airplane? When the hell did we get that? It was too much too quick.
On top of that, the simplicity of the game that made it so popular was starting to dwindle down.
Yes.
At the same time, people were getting cracked at the game, and for casuals, you could even play a game without a dude building a castle every time you shoot a single shot at them, which is what I think turned a lot of people off, and even me for a long time, because it just feels like you can't compete with it. After some
100%.
crazy events and stuff, new chapters would come out, and it would be a nice breath of fresh air because it would bring back the simplicity, but it never lasted long because it would just get littered with some bullshit. Like, bro, what the f was this? And these events were just getting wild. But yeah, as constant updates came out, it low-key was just getting overwhelming with all the random stuff they would just throw in the map. Nothing was coherent or made any type of sense in any way, because you would just have the volcano Spider-Man city next to the Seaman Sanctuary. And like, as far as the storyline goes, like, what was even happening? We had the Jizz Queen for a while, I guess, and then every single time a chapter would end, we'd have some epic galaxy island flip explosion, and then boom, Mr. Beast. I guess the best way I can describe it is it felt like they were adding a lot, but nothing with actual real substance. Like back whenever they had the first major update where it added shifty shafts and tilted towers and all the other stuff in the OG map, it genuinely felt like it changed a lot without ruining the core gameplay or feeling.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like, it's okay to change the outside stuff, but when it starts changing the core gameplay, like when all of a sudden you go from shotguns and snipers and ARs to, well, now you got to pick up the rift, to then rift up to get the, the cloud, to get the cloud to surf to this, to then Kamehameha this, and then you can get into a rocket here, and then if you don't get into the robot, as long as the core gameplay is there, as long as the core hit a cool sniper, get a shotgun, tear some people up, as long as that's cool and available, everything else will be fine.
That Fortnite had. If you take a look at Google Trends, you can clearly see the slow decline of the game's interest. And overall, I think that was simply just a result of poor updates. At some points when new chapters would come out, the game would be kind of fun for a little bit, and after that, it just started to get boring again. When Chapter 4 released, I think that's where everything began to take a turn. The beginning of the chapter started out basically like how every other one does. I think the first major thing that stands out about this chapter was the special items. Like at first, you had the My Hero Academia thing, and then also the hammer, which is still to this day one of my favorite items that has ever been added to Fortnite. It was actually goated. But anyways, they just made the game more interesting, not necessarily because you had all these super OP things, but mainly because they can completely change the way you play the game. Pretty much every single season you would get some sort of new mobility item that all acted different, but they were super fun to use, and also just speeds up the tedious process of getting around the map and just makes what you do 90% of the.
And it's fine to introduce these special items as long as they fit within that style. You don't want a special item that completely changes the core gameplay of Fortnite to where you're not just shooting at other players. You're not just trying to be the last person standing. You're doing a totally different thing. The way I look at it is games like Halo, for example. Like if you played Halo right now, you played back then, and you took 10 years off and went back and played, it would feel good. It would feel the same. It'd be just as fun, right? But if you went back and all the weapons were different, your character now could fly, you were now controlling robots and whatever else, you'd be like, this isn't the same game. This isn't the same experience. I don't have time to learn a new experience, or I don't want to learn a new experience. And then you probably just get overwhelmed and quit playing. That happens a lot in games.
The game anyway is actually kind of fun. I hardly use most of these items for combat in the first place. Most of the time it was just the travel to get out of sticky situations. Like at one point there was a season where we had both the ODM gear from Attack on Titan and actual lightsabers, and like at the time I for real can't describe how cool that was.
Coolest shit I ever seen in my life. Two clone troopers going at it. One of them is using ODM gear, dodges the bullets, attaches to my structure, swings around like Levi Ackerman. He lands in my build like he's Batman, right?
See, I'm not totally sure that would be a positive, because if you're jumping in to Fortnite for the first time in a couple months, and all of a sudden some people are floating through space, grappling onto your structure, flying to you, pulling a lightsaber out, and then lightsabering you, it's like, what am I even playing? What is this? What is this game?
This is the lightsaber. Somehow, pulls his out. I know what happened there. He uses the force to throw me off the fucking map. This is the sweetest I've ever seen in my life.
Whenever the seasons progress is when things really started to go left from the other chapters. Instead of taking a random hot shit on top of the map every season, they actually made changes that sort of halfway made sense and that weren't completely incoherent. Every update added something in a way that made it feel like the map was evolving and not just like they threw shit onto it. In the second season, they replaced the bottom right with a whole new portion of the map, added tons of new locations, including the beautiful mega city, and they did all that while still making it feel like it fit into the map seamlessly. And the next season they were
and new updates like this, like new map updates, new weapon updates, it's hard to do that. And it's hard to be creative and fun when you're also trying to balance for like a hyper competitive meta. Because when everything needs to be balanced, it's very difficult to do fun things that are also super balanced. So that it also kind of can't, the more competitive and the more meta a game gets, the more it cannibalizes the fun factor.
Placed the middle part of the map with a jungle that had abandoned temples and dinosaurs. Now, to be completely honest, it's not their best work, and it was kind of ass, but I mean, it was still cool, let's be real, and it still kind of fit in with the theme of the rest of the map. And then finally, the last season added these like luxury heist type of locations, which I thought were lame at first, but after I played with them, they actually ended up being pretty cool. And not to mention the rocket ram and the witch broom, which were just a couple of the main special items that season, were actual flames, bruh. Now, the most important and the greatest thing that has ever been added to the game, in my opinion, was rank play. Now, I'm not saying it was perfect, because it was definitely scuffed, but like, this is what should have been in the game at the very beginning. This pretty much solved the main issue I had with the game at the time, which is that there's not really a point of playing much, because you just get put inside of a match with a whole bunch of bots for 90% of the game until you end up getting killed by someone who's actually cracked in the final.
I do think the rank play is good because it can separate players who want to do different things. You know, like I play a lot of unranked, because I'm not trying to play the hyper competitive meta style. I'm not trying to grind ranks and all that. I'm trying to just play a game of Fortnite once every 2 days. You know, so I play a lot of unranked, and I have tons of fun while I'm doing that. But other players want to try and get really good at the game. They want to hyper specialize at the game. They want to play 20 hours a day. They want to rank up. So it's good that the two audiences can kind of split. When you have them all in the same game, that can be problematic for the 99% of just casual gamers.
Final circle, and it just felt like there was no real progression other than the battle pass and your account level, which weren't actually based on your skill. And that's where I think rank play comes in case you aren't aware with how it works. Basically, your first match in rank mode determines what rank it puts you in. Depending on how you perform in matches from that point on, you'll either move up if you go crazy, or you'll move down if you're ass. Even as a casual player, it's one of the main reasons I played so much since it came out. The last thing I noticed during the season was that it felt like they were focusing less on the storyline and more on the gameplay itself, specifically just the fun of it. Over time, there's been less story stuff going on. There was even an ending event for the chapter 4 leading into the OG season, which just got obliterated into the Shadow Realm and nowhere to be seen. Now, I guess a lack of focus on the storyline can be seen as a bad thing for people who really care about that, but I feel like if it means that they can focus on the rest of the game more, then that's all that most people will care about. While Fortnite,
yeah, the main thing is the game should be fun. You know, if you make a game fun, the player base will be there. It'll play the game. If the game is fun, streamers will find it, YouTubers will find it, they'll play it, people will watch that, they'll play it, everyone will have fun. So making the game fun should be the foundation for all games that are in the current space.
Fortnite popularity was still actually surprisingly at its lowest point in history. I believe that they were just setting themselves up for a crazy comeback while also cooking up some crazy stuff for creative mode, but I'll get back to that in a bit. Also, I'm hella sick right now and I'm adding this after editing, but I also forgot to mention how important collabs were. I think they were a huge part of what—
Oh yeah, the collabs are awesome. Like the ability to be Goku, be Vegeta, be, you know, Peter Griffin from Family Guy, whatever it is. Like, those are fantastic. That is so smart from Fortnite because it's endless. It's limitless. You know, like you can be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Next month you could be Terminator. Next month could be another show. Then, I mean, you know, as long as characters, I mean, exist, they can be part of this. And being those characters and getting those skins and doing that is such a great idea.
What kept people coming back to the game and also probably introduced a lot of new people to the game. But yeah, let's get back into it. Now, finally, the moment y'all have all been probably waiting for. We got the OG Fortnite season. Now, this one skyrocketed the popularity of Fortnite higher than it's ever been. I honestly don't know if they even planned this season for long or not, because it seems like they just kind of put it out there. But I mean, whatever the case is, it worked. This season brought back the beloved map from the first chapter of—
Same thing happened with World of Warcraft, where when World of Warcraft announced Classic, people loved it because people just want simple, fun, and nostalgia is always, you know, always something that's good too. So anytime people get a chance to do that, they're going to do it. And it always seems to be very successful.
Fortnite. Throughout the next month, it cycled between some major map changes that happened in the original, but what I find interesting is that they didn't follow through with everything exactly like how it was originally. So for example, instead of adding all the map changes in each update, they just took some of the best and most like parts of the seasons and then added them in. They also even kept some of the features from the newer chapters like super sprinting and sliding. Now, some people were crying about it because it wasn't the exact same as the original, but like, bro, who honestly cares? They literally took the best of all worlds and combined it into one, and overall overall, the players definitely enjoyed it because the game hit their concurrent player count peak of 44.7 million players at the same time over 5.5 years after the game had already launched. Now, if this doesn't show that doing what your fan base wants sometimes is a good idea, then I don't know what is. It's also great because it seems like they've been a lot more involved with their community, which I would only imagine means better things for the game in the future. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is how crazy the creative mode is. It started as just a little fun side mode that was very limited for several years, but now within the past year or so, it seems like they've been working a lot and investing a whole lot of money into it to try to get it super huge. And I'm pretty sure Fortnite's goal is to steer itself away from just being a battle royale game. I think they want to expand it to other.
Oh yeah, they are. So I mean, this might be filmed before, but Disney now owns part of Fortnite, so our Epic. So it won't just be battle royale. I mean, Fortnite's going to be, there's going to be so much more. There could be TV shows based on it, movies based on it, series based on it. You know, all this stuff is going to happen because of Disney's involvement now. Fortnite will it'll move the direction of like Star Wars, where there's going to be so much more than just a battle royale. The battle royale will probably be the foundation for it. And another thing too with the Disney acquisition is that now so many more assets will be brought into the game as far as like crossovers and new skins and new stories and all of that. There's so many more possibilities now. So Fortnite is, I think, in a position to where it's about to really take off.
The territory, kind of similar to how Roblox is, where you can basically play whatever game you want. I'd imagine this is good for them because it allows them to have more versatility and a lack of reliance on one mode. I think it's pretty clear that this is where the future of Fortnite is heading, because at first they created the Unreal Engine for Fortnite, which basically allowed creators to be able to make nearly any type of game that they want, kind of like how Roblox is again. And also because they've been adding their own hugely successful modes like Lego Fortnite,
Lego, the racing,
even the Guitar Hero mode, even simple maps like the Up one that came out. We're competing with the player count, some of the legit battle royale modes having over 100,000 players at the same time in just a creative map, which is actually wild. After the OG season ended, the popularity obviously fell a bit, but even
they'll use Fortnite as a base for any game genre you can think of. You know, any, like the Fall Guys to Only Up to Guitar Hero to racing to Rocket League. Like all those things will be possible in this new world. I think, like I said, just like Star Wars has a world, Avatar has a world, Marvel has a world, Fortnite is now about to have a world. It's going to have that foundational kind of plane, which I think means it's about to get even bigger.
Even almost 2 months after that happened, the average player count is still about double what it was back in October. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on the new chapter, mainly due to its lack of simplicity, but even then, just them focusing on making the gameplay more enjoyable and making updates that are actually important is clearly helping a lot to maintain this new player count. And I think it's really smart that they've spent this past year just improving the game, then dropping the OG Fortnite season, which brought a whole new popularity to Fortnite from here on out, with not just the battle royale mode but also the creative mode
and the no build. But like what I think is funny is that whenever he says make the game better or improve the game, it's really what he's saying is make the game more fun. You know, like that's what he means when he says that. And that's what the player base wants. Right now, people are yearning for just fun, just a fun game, just a quick, fun, hop-in experience. I really think, I think I'm going to be on the forefront of this. I think the whole like super competitive pro gamer scene is about to be done. Like there will always be pro gamers. There will always be the best of a game. But the idea, like 5 years ago, there was FaZe Clan and TSM and Optic and, you know, all these teams, all these groups. There was leagues everywhere, the Overwatch League, the Call of Duty League, the Fortnite World Cup, all that. It got to where it was like this bubble of pro gamer and join a team, join an org, do this. Now we're seeing a lot of those teams fall apart. We're seeing a lot of the teams that existed don't exist anymore, or they don't do much anymore, or there's no league, or there's no whatever. I think people are shifting away from that idea. They don't want that idea as much, and now they're looking for more fun. It's just a classic trend. Trends are swinging back and forth. You know, people now I think want more of that Super Mario 64 kind of thing where it's like, I'm hopping in, I'm having some fun, I'm having some goofs and some gaffs. I'm just going to kind of wild out for a couple hours, and that's it. They want more of that, more of like the old school Grand Theft Auto where you just hop in, drive around, do a couple missions, do what you want to do, and then get out of there. They want more of that and less of the grind, less of the dailies, less of the meta, less of the hyper focus on one game only. That's something that we've seen too much of recently, and it's, to me as a parent, that people are kind of rejecting that idea.
They've already announced that they're going to be bringing back the OG map at some point this year, so even if the game ever starts declining again, they basically have a cheat code to keep saving the game if they really needed to. Really though, I don't even think it'll come down to that. All they have to do is just keep doing what they're doing and keep making the game fun.
Yeah, they're doing great right now.
I don't think it'll truly die anytime soon.
Game is super
yeah,
fun
y'all, this
right
is
now.
my new channel, and I appreciate the love and support on my first 2 videos. If y'all want to see some more chill content about whatever I'm rocking with,
yeah, for sure. Go check it out. Link in the description below. But I'm right there with. I 100% agree. I think Fortnite's in a great space right now. It's really fun right now. I enjoy it, and because of the way I play it. You know, I 100% would not be playing it if I had to jump in and compete with all the Bob the Builders. I just wouldn't be able to do it. Can't do it. Can't put that much time into it. Can't learn it. Can't practice. You know, whatever. So I just want to hop in, get a couple battle royales in, see what happens. Detach and play. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the video and the state of Fortnite, where you see the genre going moving forward. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.